Welcome to the GreaterTrail.com Village of Fruitvale All Candidates Forum 2008. Listen to the candidates for Village Mayor. Bill Welman, current councillor, challenging Libby Nelson for Mayor.
All those things have dedicated volunteers, and we have to come up with a concerted effort and a plan to how to help them out in the long term and not just the short term. I think there's a lot of great ideas coming on board, like walking trails, green gyms, skateboards, and all those other things. And I really believe that those things need a plan, not just an idea, but we have to take it forward to a plan, and they have to be budgeted for and come in with timelines. I think we should be holding quarterly meetings with the businesses in downtown. I think that's important because we have to know what they need and how we can support them in the long term to make them successful businesses. Right now, and just recently, I think our school is at risk if we don't come up with a plan about how to work with that school. Because right now, with our dwindling school population, it's at risk. And I think we should be doing something with them in order to keep them up and running. I think what's critical, too, is taxes, though. With this downturn in the economy and the recession, tax dollars are going to be hard to come by. Income's going to be hard to come by. And I think every tax dollar we spend should be justified. And I'm not against tax increases, but I really think that we have to look at our budget all the time and scrutinize it to make sure everything is done right and on time. There's nothing wrong with the budget, with something going over budget, but there's another project under budget, but we have to look at it. So if I'm mayor, I'm going to work with community members and council to make sure that we come up with an effective run village. And I'll work with the newly elected council and other municipalities, the regional district, and so that we become a results-oriented village. I think that most importantly, though, is you have to be accessible as the mayor. And if someone wants to call me, I have a cell phone. I'm accessible 24 hours a day. Hopefully it's not just a small emergency when it's at midnight, but if it's a big enough emergency, I can be there. I was there for the floods and various other things, so I know that I can do that because I think it's important to the individual and the taxpayer. So if you give me a chance, I think I'll be a good mayor. Thank you very much. The Greater Trail Service Commission for Culture has folded, but the Beaver Valley Parks and Recreation Commission, I can see it being formed in much the same way we did with the Columbia Basin Trust this year, where we got a representative from Fruitvale and a representative from Montrose and a representative from Area A, plus the directors. We sat down and we went over the prioritization of the Columbia Basin Trust. So I think it would be a great idea to have people who actually work and use the facilities as a part of that Rec and Parks Commission. I don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, I think it should be encouraged. Thank you.
Yes, I know. Yes.
There are some seats at the front if the people would like to sit down. I just want to first thank you, the Chamber of Commerce, for hosting the forum, and to all of you for giving your time to come out tonight. When I first ran for council, I said, I'm open, honest, strong, and sensible. I believe in people first, responsible planning, and careful spending. I had experience in labour relations, business, facilities review, policy development, planning, and budgets. I believe those characteristics are still my strengths. When we began together 12 years ago, Councillors Grieve, Sadler, Swanson, and Wenman were committed and interested in doing the best job for the village. We worked as a team with humour and respect at the table, and almost always by consensus. Through the years, we tackled some big challenges: clearing the debt we inherited, fixing and expanding the public works building, rebuilding this hall with debt-free status within 8 years, clean drinking water, road improvement priority plan, and we do have a list of priorities set, which is somewhat dependent on the budget available, but we do have a plan which roads are the most urgent to be dealt with. And all of that was done without serious increase in taxation. Buildings and infrastructure are obvious and important, but people are what life is really about to me. I love coming into Fruitvale now. All the great improvements that the fantastic Communities in Bloom Committee has achieved really give me a warm feeling. And when you feel good, You are better. Life is better. Our council worked hard to improve staff morale, to build trust and to show respect for our employees. Our term began after a well-meaning attempt to restructure management had failed, resulting in a very demoralised staff. Equipment was decrepit and unreliable. Our program of equipment management and replacement has been successful, I think, in improving both the work product and staff morale. With Vince Morelli, we took on our own negotiations with our CUPE union, and I think that's also been helpful. And this year we were pleased to sign a 5-year contract. I have demonstrated my commitment to Fruitvale. I have the time, energy and interest. I can't promise to do everything you ask. Council is a democracy and the majority rules. But I will show respect to each councillor you place at the table and make every effort to represent your best interests. The winds of change are blowing, and there'll be at least 2 new faces from this talented group of people at the table. I would appreciate the opportunity, once again, to work with a group of councillors who have the energy and interest to participate. Thank you. I know that there was a challenge finding volunteers at one point, and I don't know if that's why it was disbanded or not, but I know that was a challenge. And we then did end up with some paid staff from the regional district who took on the work. So that's all I know of the history. It's always good to get community input, whatever we're doing, not only on recreation, but on anything that we're doing as a community. I love to hear from you, and I'm sure all of the people at the table will want to hear from you, and do want to hear from you when you have any input on anything. We also try to hold public sessions and invite people to come and participate, but I think probably 6 or 8 faces in the crowd who are here tonight who have ever been out to one of our public meetings discussing budget items. So it's very difficult to find a real way to get solid input from the community. And if anybody has any suggestions of how we could do that better, it would be really helpful to hear that. But I hope that there will be opportunities for public input in whatever is decided. I know that there was a challenge finding volunteers at one point, and I don't know if that's why it was disbanded or not, but I know that was a challenge. And we then did end up with some paid staff from the regional district who took on the work. So that's all I know of the history. It's always good to get community input, whatever we're doing, not only on recreation, but on anything that we're doing as a community. I love to hear from you, and I'm sure all of the people at the table will want to hear from you, and do want to hear from you when you have any input on anything. We also try to hold public sessions and invite people to come and participate, but I think probably 6 or 8 faces in the crowd who are here tonight who have ever been out to one of our public meetings discussing budget items. So it's very difficult to find a real way to get solid input from the community. And if anybody has any suggestions of how we could do that better, it would be really helpful to hear that. But I hope that there will be opportunities for public input in whatever is decided.